Alright, this is just demonstrating some quick techniques on how to achieve glow effects on your objects in 3ds Max using Mental Ray. Simple scene setup here. I've got 3 cylinders, a plane, a torus knot, and a Mental Ray area Omnilight. Settings for the Omnilight: ray trace shadows on, multiplier at 10.5, decay is inverse square, and I threw on some area light, 20 inches and 8 by 8 samples. But you don't need that stuff, and your settings will probably vary depending on your scene. So let's get started. Now, the easiest way I think most people would think to add glow is to put self-illumination on a material. One more thing I will say is my render setup. I do have Final Gather on set to low, and that's it. Anyways, back to this. People would put self-illumination on a material and call that good for a glow. While that does produce a glow-like effect, it looks more illuminated rather than it's glowing. So there's a couple more things we can do to make this really glow. First would be we can keep self-illumination on. Over here we have our material ID channel. We can select any number, it doesn't matter, maybe 8 sounds good, it doesn't matter, it's just a reference. Go to rendering and environment, the effects tab. We're going to add in a lens effect and glow. Now what this is going to do is put a glow around any object or material that we specify, and we see all these parameters here. The size is going to be, of course, how big or small the glow is. The intensity is going to be how bright or dull the glow is. First, we need to say that for your image source, what's going to be glowing, we have object ID and material ID. We're going to do by material ID, and when I choose 8, I have 8. I'm going to make this 8. So anything with material ID 8 is going to have this glow, and if you have more than one materials that you want glowing, you can just add another lens effect and change your material ID or whatever. Color, you can give it a color here, let's say maybe orange. And size, I'm going to turn this down just a bit, maybe turn the intensity down. Let's see what this looks like. Yeah, not too bad. We can obviously tell that the thing's glowing, and you can even still see some of the blue from the self-illumination and the global illumination. This is just Max's rendering filter that it puts on after the image has been rendered. You might be able to get better results using After Effects or even Photoshop. I tend to think of this as kind of weak, but it actually works. So if this is something you're going for, use this. Another thing, if you don't like that it glows over the object, there's another thing you can do in the options menu is turn the perimeter on, and that'll just make everything on the perimeter of the object glow like this. So we got some areas that didn't quite make it, which is why I say this thing is kind of weak. I mean, it doesn't look that great, but it does work. So if you're willing to settle, go ahead and use that. But I won't. So next technique, I'm going to use an architectural material. Give it a nice color. And down here we have the luminance. This is going to be how bright it is. So we'll see what this looks like in the render. So we can definitely tell that it's glowing, but it doesn't have that halo effect, that glowing halo effect like the lens effect glow had. But we can do something to change that too. Turn that down just a bit. If you go to render setup and on the renderer tab, scroll down to camera shaders. We'll add an output shader, a glare shader. Make an instance of this in an empty material slot. and just the default render. I definitely have that halo effect, only it's a little too bright, but we can change that. So I'll just turn the luminance down just a bit. Maybe I'll give it some shininess. Let's see what this looks like. Not too bad. Alright, in the camera shader properties, you've got the quality here with 4 being the max, but I think 2 will work just fine. Spread is going to be how far out the glare goes. So maybe if we make this 6 or something, I don't know. We'll give it a try, see how far out from the torus it goes. Yep, just just a little bit too much. I'll turn that back to 3, maybe drop the luminance down here. Yeah, maybe still too bright. Yeah, not bad. Getting closer. Another thing you can do is make a mental ray material. And on the surface, do a glow loom. And specify your glow color. And yeah, let's take a look what that does. It's probably going to be something similar to the architectural material. It's a little bit different, but you can see what it's doing. Down here, the diffuse, the surface material and the diffuse, the lighter these are, the brighter the glow is going to be. And you can also do the brightness here too. And you can also assign maps here. So just some things to think about. Yeah, so I turn that spread down and it's just a real slight halo around the object. So let's see if it does the same thing with the architectural material. Turn that down to 1.25. Yeah, it's barely noticeable, but it's still there. So yeah, you can either do use a glow loom shader, use an architectural shader and turn the luminance up, tweak it by that, and you can even throw in a camera shader and give it a glare material, and you can tweak it, or a glare shader, and you can tweak it from there however you like. Or you can even use the lens effects glow. And not to say that the lens effects glow is bad or anything. I think it's awesome that it's built into Max and you can do it like that, and you don't actually have to export everything into some third-party post-production program. But I don't think Max was built for post-production work, so it tends to be a little bit lacking in the power of it. So, but it's there and it works. So there's a couple different ways to achieve glow effects in Max. Hope you learned something. Take care.